Never in the contemporary history of the Philippines, the Sultan of Sulu demanded the Sulu archipelago to be separated from the Republic of the Philippines, despite my apology that the Sultan of Sulu never signed his signature in the incorporation of the Sultanate of Sulu in the archipelago of Sulu into the Philippine Commonwealth when the United States of America ceded it without the implied consent of Sultan Moro-Christian III. The Kieran-Carpenter Agreement embodied two historical and moral obligations of the United States of America. Number one, the United States agreed to place the Sultanate of Sulu under its protectorate. And secondly, the United States government assured full measure of protection to the Sultan of Sulu should the question of Sabah arise between him and any foreign authority. Ngunit kahit ganon ho ang historical background ng Sultanate, yet Sultan Moro-Christian III never bothered yet to refer this to historic and moral obligations to the United States government through its embassy in Manila up to this moment. In 1704, the Sultan of Brunei asked for military assistance to his uncle, the Sultan of Sulu. In return for that military assistance to quell the rebellion in Brunei, naibigay ho ang North Borneo sa Sultan of Sulu vested with sovereignty rights. So on and so forth in 1878, nang nangangailangan ang Sultanato ng Sulu ng financial capacity to finance its war to fight against Spain, ay naisanla niya ang Sabah sa British North Borneo Company. Wala pa ho ang Federation of Malaysia o kaya Malaya noon. So that, what is the nature or word of conveyance of the 1878 lease agreement? Ang sabi ho, padjak. Padjak is a Malay word. Padjak is a Tausug word. Padjak is a word of all ethnic groups in the Philippines. When it is padjak, it does not mean kahit yung lupa ay kasama. What is being given or granted by the Sultan of Sulu to Overbeek through the British North Borneo Company was a delegated power. I will repeat, was a delegated power to establish, number one, to establish the British North Borneo Company in the said territory, and number two, giving him the delegating him the power and authority to develop the natural wealth of the territory. Walang iba. Now, but what happened? In order for the our president to apply for the so-called Royal Charter of Incorporation, ang unang ginawa ho ni Overbeek, bininta niya ang kanyang karapatan lease kay Overbeek. After our president possessed the sole rights over the company, siya ho ay kumuha ng dalawang Great Britons para i-translate o kaya palitan ang sinasabing padjak into another term. Padjak in English is lease. But when it was translated, padjak already meant cession. So, the crux of controversy of the Sabah issue was unilaterally done by Great Britain through its national archpresident in 1879. So on and on in 1885, in order to allow Great Britain to occupy and rule the leased territory, nagkaroon ho ng tinatawag na Madrid Protocol of 1885. Dito ho, Spain renounced its claim over the over North Borneo, kunwari, in favor of Great Britain, whereas Great Britain renounced its claim over the archipelago of Sulu in favor and under the control of Great Britain. Dito ho, ang conspiracy started between Spain and Great Britain. So on and on, in 1888, nagkaroon ho ng protectorate agreement kung saan Great Britain, the British Parliament, the British Parliament, the British Crown, and the British North Borneo Company collaborated to achieve the so-called protectorate agreement, whereby the British government was given the responsibility to control the external affairs of the this territory of North Borneo. Comes the December 1898 Treaty of Paris. What happened was Spain and the United States refused to tackle the issue of ownership of Sabah because of fear of non-recognition by Great Britain to the Treaty of Paris. Kasi kinakailangan mo ng dalawang bansa ang recognition ng Great Britain doon sa Treaty of Paris. So that when the United States government, through the Kiram Beach Treaty, which was utilized by the MILF in inviting the attention of President George W. Bush so that America could help in the resolution of the conflict in Mindanao, ginamit to ng MILF ang Kiram Beach Agreement of 1899. Samantala, the call of the agreement in that agreement focus only over the areas in the archipelago of Sulu. So sa pangyayari yun, America, despite the power and authority granted to it by the Treaty of Paris, kailangan pa rin niya ang authority of the Sultan in order to start implementing its manifest destiny. In that, the United States government decided through the recommendation of General Pershing that the complete resolution to the conflict in the archipelago of Sulu between the United States forces and the Bansa Sulu people is through the use of piece of paper and pencil, meaning education. That was the time when the so-called Kiram Carpenter Agreement came into view. However, prior to that, the Jones Law of 1914, which was discussed already in the United States Congress, which promised independence to the Philippines, threatened the British interest of the British interest over North Borneo. What happened was Queen Victoria of England induced President Wilson to compel the last Governor General of the last American Governor General of the Philippines, Francis Burton, to compel Sultan Jamalul Kiram to relinquish his temporal sovereignty to the United States government in the Philippines. However, as a matter of appeasing the Sultan of Sulu, as I have mentioned already, the United States government committed and promised two historic moral obligations. Number one, as I said, I will reiterate, the United States government agreed to place the Sultanate of Sulu under its protectorate. And the United States government assured full measure of protection to the Sultan of Sulu should the question of Sabah arise between him and any foreign authority. So on and on, in 1930, on January 2nd, the United States government and Great Britain decided to separate that one kingdom of the Sultanate of Sulu into two. The territory of North Borneo was agreed under the January 2nd, 1930 Convention Treaty to be placed under the Great Britain, whereas the archipelago of Sulu will remain under the complete and political control of the United States. When the Tiding McDuffie Act was passed, that was the time the sovereign power of the Sultanate started to be emasculated. What happened was, without the implied consent of the Sultanate of Sulu, and without abrogating the 1915 Carpenter Agreement, the United States government unilaterally incorporated the Kingdom of the Sultanate of Sulu into the Philippine Commonwealth. My apology. Now, these legacies now question the legitimacy and just claim of the Sultanate of Sulu over North Borneo. When the Sultanate of Sulu was already incorporated, and upon the death of Sultan Jamalul Kiram II in 1936, without consulting the last American Governor General Francis Bolton over the modus operandi of the 1915 Kerem Carpenter Agreement, declared right away that he would no longer recognize the succession of the Sultan of Sulu. On what ground? Because a year after that was just the time when the Sultanate of Sulu was incorporated into the Philippine Commonwealth. Without further consulting the last American governor, the abdication's declaration affected the status of North Borneo. So that when Second World War overtaken the mandate given to Sultan Kunjungan Kiram under the 1939 Makaski Judgment, which he was mandated to take inventory of the natural resources upon the issuance of the so-called Makaski Judgment, World War II occurred. And so that in 1946, when the British North Borneo Company realized that it does not have the financial capacity to rehabilitate the war-torn North Borneo territory, ceded or transferred its alleged sovereign right and assets to the British Crown. What happened was the unwarranted assumption of sovereignty rights by Great Britain started to trigger the attention of the members of the Philippine House of Congress to undertake serious study how Sabah or North Borneo belongs to the Sultanate of Sulu. In 1950, while the Political Association for the Formation of the Federation of Malaysia was in serious consideration by Great Britain and the Federation of Malaya, the political association was formed and established with a purpose to gobble up these territories of Sarawak, Singapore, Brunei, and North Borneo. Under that political scheme, the British Parliament thought of having an enabling act by creating the so-called Coboard Commission. In 1962, the Coboard Commission was tasked to ascertain the views of people in the two Borneo territories, Sarawak and North Borneo. However, the result of which was exaggeration according to the head of the commission, Lord Coboard of Great Britain. The result of that ascertainment of views of people in North Borneo guided Great Britain and the Federation of Malaya to sign an act relating to Malaysia on July 9, 1963, naming North Borneo as a new state of Sabah and federated it to the now Federation of Malaysia. On that day, the sovereign power of the Sultanate again over the territory was almost emasculated. Now, in order for the Philippine government to file its claim over the territory, it has to discuss with the Sultan of Sulu. Because under Article 1, Section 1 of the Philippine Constitution, both 1935 and the 1987, does not include North Borneo as part of the Philippine national boundary. In order that the Philippine government could not be criticized either by Great Britain or Malaysia, it had to negotiate for a special power of authority to be granted by the Sultan of Sulu. And so in 1962, the so-called transfer document or transfer of sovereignty rights to the Philippine government was executed by the Sultan of Sulu. However, under the document, in page 5, nagsasabi ho, pag halimbawa the government of the Philippines, after exhausting all peaceful means within the modes of pacific settlement of disputes at hindi na niya itutuloy, ay karapatan ng Sultan of Sulu bawiin uli ang special power of authority binigay noong 1963. Kaya nga, in 1989, binawi ni Sultan Jamalul Kiram III at mga opisyalis ng Sultanate of Sulu ang karapatan yun. Doon, nangangahulugan, wala nang karapatan ang gobyerno since 1989. The government of the Philippines of the Republic of the Philippines since 1989 no longer possess the legal authority to discuss, talk, and execute the Sabah claim in the United Nations. Now, ano ang ginawa ng Malaysia? Did Malaysia agree that the resolution of the Sabah issue be resolved peacefully? No. Hanggang ngayon, ganito ang ginagawa nila, kaya nga may estado. Because in 1968, the Philippine panel challenged Malaysia na dalhin na natin itong issue sa International Court of Justice in order to resolve the issue once and for all. Ngunit, ano ang ginawa ng Malaysia? They refuse kasi alam nila that their evidence in the evidence to support their claim of title of sovereignty over North Borneo cannot stand scrutiny in a proper tribunal. Meaning, hindi nila kaya dipinsahan ang kanilang katuwiran na ang Sabah sa kanila. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng standoff na ito. Now, ano pa ang sulat sinasabi dito? On June 28, 2010, sumulat tayo sa bagong administrasyon ng tatlong issues. Number 1, Sabah claim. Number 2, creation of Sabah refugee concerns. And number 3, pinaalam ni Sultan Jamalul Kiram III ang kanyang mungkahi na magkaroon ng massive consultation with the people in the archipelago of Sulu in reference to the Sabah claim. Ngunit, ito ay unfortunately, sabi nila, nawala. So, ito ang punot dulo ng ating problema ngayon. Now, what is now the possession of the Sultanate? In 2004, Sultan Jamalul Kiram III and all the brothers and sisters, including the historic constituents of the Sultanate of Sulu, submitted a 2004 petition before the United Nations. Unfortunately, ang sagot, under Article 34 and 35 of the Statute Court in the International Court of Justice, nagsasabi ho, sapagkat ang Sultanato ng Sulu ay isa ng pribadong entity, hindi kaya niyang i-endorso doon sa United Nations General Assembly para talakayin ang issue. What we needed as of this moment is an endorsement of one sovereign nation. What we needed as of this present is an endorsement of one sovereign nation in order that the Sabah issue Nations General Assembly for discussions. Ito ho ang hinahanap ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Ito ho ang ating hinahanap. Ngunit, nasaan itong instrumento na ito in order we can resolve the issue peacefully? Sapagkat, kung ang pag-uusapan is about peace, ang Sultanate of Sulu ay dumaan ng 300 years war against Spain, 13 years war against the United States of America, 4 years during Second World War. Mindanao conflict from 1972 up to present. Kami ho ay pagod na sa pakikipaglaban. We want peace to reign in our region so that we can fully develop the natural world in the archipelago of Sulu for the benefit of the Filipino people. Just like this Sabah, because ang kanilang tatay nagsaba, Sabah is not for sale. Remember my children before his last breath. Sabah is not for sale. Sabah is the patrimony of the Filipino people.